Oh, it's breakable.
Shirley is here too.
Hey, Shirley.
Let's put the camera on.
Hey. Oh, nice to see you guys. Haven't seen you in so long.
I know, it's been too long. Itai was just telling me today, can you believe it's been a year since Zeros? It's crazy.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Shirley, I'm back in Syros 1 year later.
Oh my
Nice.
God, we're jealous.
Yeah. Where are you?
We are in the United States right now. Our nephew just got married, so we came for the wedding.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Elodie, what do you think? Should we start or give it a few more minutes?
Yeah, we had 30 people who accepted the invite, so I think we're close enough. Let's get
All right.
started. Anyway, we'll start the recording and then we can always catch up. There you go.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I started the recording, so we can, let's dive in. First of all, thank you everyone for joining us today. There might be some of you who are new to Boundless Life. We did kind of announce this to the public last week, so there might be some of you who've never joined a discovery call with any of our team members yet. So we thought we'd start off just giving a very quick and brief overview on what Boundless Life provides families before we jump into the Trailblazer program. So I apologize for those of you who've been with us for a long time. I will keep it short and brief, I promise. So we launched about almost 2 years ago, February 2021. And since then, our Boundless Life community has welcomed over 400 families and 800 children to date. 78% of those families have rated their experience with us as a 9 or 10 out of 10. And 50% have already booked a second stay with us. So we are definitely really excited to see the amount of growth and happy customers that we've experienced so far. So Boundless Life as a whole basically offers a complete living abroad experience that has education and community at the core. So we basically offer a turnkey solution that provides first a forward-thinking education program with mixed age groups for kids between the ages of 1 to 12 right now. That's based on the Nordic Baccalaureate, which is a Finnish education model. Families also get an instant community of like-minded families to have shared experiences with. They get fully equipped homes designed with families in mind, and a stimulating collaborative co-working hub, and finally experiences that they can have to discover the local culture and develop new skills. So I'm going to keep it at that, just to keep it brief. But if you do have any other questions or want to know, do a deep dive into what our full offering looks like, feel free to book a discovery call from our website to learn more. Our sales team is incredible, and they'll be able to give you the full picture of what it is that we offer. For today's webinar, though, we will be focusing on an update that's specifically for Boundless Education. And we are thrilled, honestly, to unveil our newest program that is tailored to older children, something that's been requested for a long time. The Trailblazer program will be launching next year, so September 2024. And it's a traveling program geared specifically towards 13 and 14-year-old kids. The program will cultivate curiosity, allow them to discover the world, and also hopefully ignite change. So for this particular age group, we did a lot of research. We wanted to make sure we were doing something that actually works for this age group. So we realized that building relationships and maintaining social continuity are really important for 13 and 14-year-olds and as they grow older. So our Trailblazer program is designed to foster these kind of connections by requiring families to commit to a 9-month journey with Boundless Life that will span across 3 destinations for 3 consecutive cohorts. That's basically equal to 1 full academic school year. The program will begin in Bali. So we'll be starting off in September of 2024, September to November for the first 3 months. And then the month of December will be off so that families can choose to either travel to other countries nearby or have the luxury to go back home and spend the holidays with your family. The program will then resume and continue from January to March in Siros, Greece for 3 months. We have a whole bunch of people in Siros at the moment. And it will conclude the last cohort from April to June in Tivat, Montenegro. Now, throughout this experience, it will be the same group of children that will be accompanied with one consistent and dedicated educator to ensure continuity, not only with their peers, but also with their educator. She's on the call and she'll be taking over shortly. Really excited for you guys to meet her. This will also, this model, we're hoping will create a very supportive and nurturing learning environment that's across all 3 destinations. And I believe, without a doubt, will leave these children with memories and shared experiences to last a lifetime. And just to clarify, we have gotten this question from a lot of families. Families must commit to all 3 consecutive cohorts. They cannot join just for one cohort. So that is a requirement. And I'll pass it on to Suzanne, who is our head of academics and our expert in Finnish education, to talk about the core academics that we'll be using for the Trailblazer program.
Thank you, Reka. Know lots of people on this call and love it that we have people who want to come back. And I think when we were building this up and when, we had from day one, literally when it was Reka and I, and then Raj joined, we had parents asking, we need middle school. And we researched the life out of it. Like literally, I think Shirley and Erez can attest to the cohort a year ago in Syros, where we really deep dove into everything, tried to see what is the best fit for us. So we have our own Nordic baccalaureate, that we have the curriculum. But when you get to middle school, we are looking for that balance of what we do, but also the accreditation, so that if a child leaves our program, they will be properly and fully recognized by wherever they're going. If they go back to school in the US, or if they go whatever country, there will be, at least for the main subjects of math, English, and science, it is via Arizona State University. And the reason why we chose that is we curated, Reka, what was it, like at least 50, Raj, but at least 50 different offerings. And university, because they're tried and tested, they have a hybrid model, they want to do things differently. They want a program like ours, and they're willing to and happy to engage with us in partnering with them to offer the math, the language, and the science. And through our experiences and being in the different countries, we will fulfill an equivalency of other subjects that they would require to go into a high school or to go into the next step in middle school. And the credibility they bring to the program is what is really key for us, and the flexibility to say a child is at this level in math, so we don't need to stay at that level. We can go on to a more challenging level for a child. That is the core of the reason that we went with Arizona State University. And they have, I'm not going to read out the list there because you can see all of it. And if you go on to the next slide, Reka, connected with this, what we eventually want to do is we want to have build out our own program. But in the absence of that validation, we have to use, or we felt it was necessary to use ASU. We are now currently in the process of getting accredited by WASC, which is the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, and it's based in California, but this is the international division. And I've been through a couple of schools that have gone through this accreditation, and they have a process of assessing, doing self-assessment. They come and do an external assessment and check on everything. They check curriculum, they check health and safety. They do a whole 360 assessment of what we offer. And once they have that stamp has a lot of value. It says, yes, this is a very, very legitimate offering. And we have already been through the first step, and we are well on our way into the second step. And I will tell you, this is my 4th accreditation process with them. And this is the first time, at the very first step, they said, yes, you're good to go to the next step without having to make any adjustments to what we're doing. And the second step will take us about a year and a half, but we will get there. And once we are up and running, we have to be, in order to get accredited by them, usually they ask that we are up and running for 2 years. They made an exception, and because of what we provided to them in evidence, they allowed us to apply earlier. But once we have the Trailblazer program up and running, we will take that next step to get that accredited as well. And dun, dun, dun.
Awesome. We're going to pass it over to Alexa. Some of you might have heard of Alexa. I'll let her introduce herself, but she will be the program lead for our Trailblazers, and we're so honored and excited to have her with us.
Thank you so much, Reka. It's a pleasure to meet you all virtually. As you were describing earlier, Reka, the sort of excitement around Trailblazers, the program starting off, I got chills, and I was like, yes, this is so exciting. So thank you for being here. Thank you for taking some time to learn more about the program and me and the design that we've envisioned, that the team has envisioned. So I'm currently in California, and I am going to be teaching a class in about 30 minutes. So if I pop off the call, please don't be offended. Please do reach out to me or any of the team members, because I do want to make sure that your questions are answered and your curiosities are sated. I have been in education for almost 20 years, and I'm in the San Francisco Bay Area right now as one of the founding faculty members of our upper school. So our upper school division was an exciting, I was telling the team earlier, kind of a startup that we envisioned as a sort of a progressive, innovative space. And it was all hands on deck, and it was really an exciting time to be a part of the design and the build and the execution of that program. And now I'm ready to spread my wings and go boundless. Share with you a little bit about our thoughts in terms of, and we can just go to the next slide, what the Trailblazers program will look like. So in partnership with ASU, as Suzanne described, we will have a variety of offerings each day. This is a snapshot. This is not, if you walk into a classroom at 12:46, will you always see a kid doing Quest? Not necessarily, right? But I'm very informed in terms of what is developmentally appropriate for learners of this age, having been at middle and high school for my career. And we'll likely have what is called a block schedule. So the days will look different, but there will be consistency in terms of the asks and tasks. One of the things I love about the cohort moving and traveling together is that we really get to co-create the curriculum to the needs of the learners in the room. And so we'll have a variety of different pieces that we're working with. I have a bias towards some of the academic offerings being in the morning. You can go to the next slide. No, that's great. Thank you. And then each destination will have a combination of an arts offering, an elective offering, and athletic focus. You can sort of see some of the proposals here that are site specific. I'm excited about the textiles in Bali. I'm excited about the engineering in Syros, and I'm excited about the dance in Montenegro. So hopefully your kids are as well. We can go to the next slide. Consistent with our programs with the exploration program and the foundations program, we'll have field trips and cultural experiences. So your kids will benefit from the community-based cohort learning that you all get to enjoy as well. So those will be built into the nature labs, but also built into our offsite programs. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. Each location has a thematic project and focus. And one of the things that's really, really exciting about this is that we're leaning into the destination specificity of the cohorts. Because we're moving together, we're actually going to be able to scaffold, to use a pedagogical term, some of the skills and practices that we'll be building throughout the year together, right? The academic year together. And these locations are just incredible. I think it's such a privilege to be a part of a team that's thinking so rigorously and thoughtfully about how best to design for this cohort, for this age group, and for this program. We can go to the next slide. So in Bali, I just want to highlight that with the team and Raj in particular support, we're really thinking about kind of the vocational outcomes for learners in the Trailblazer program. So these are just some of the offerings that we'll have in terms of the thematic approach. But here, the vocational piece is really exciting for me. And so each location has a sort of a restoration or tangible vocational outcome for your kids. So in Bali, we'll be working with marine life and with restoration of the habitats for turtles. If you go to the next slide, and these will all be available for you. So if I'm going too quickly, I apologize, but I just think there's a lot of information on each slide. So in Syros, our vocational focus is going to be around, oh, I apologize. My speaker notes just went away. Are we doing first aid in? No, that's in
So-
Montenegro. Oh, civics in Syros? Yeah, okay, beautiful. Civic engagement in Syros, some parliamentary visits and really exploring sort of the home of democracy. Thank you. Sorry, I could have seen that. My speaker notes went far away for some reason. And then when we move to Montenegro, we'll be focusing on junior first aid training, which I'm so excited that the kids will have this as a tangible sort of life skill, but then they may also be able to teach you all as the grown-ups in their lives. So really excited. I hope that comes through. I know that video calls don't necessarily translate the sort of physical chills and engagement, but your kids are going to have just a powerful experience where they get to co-create learning, engage with their curiosity, and be change makers. If we can go to the next slide. So we are envisioning that the best sort of size to optimize learning and engagement will be between 15 and 18 students. I will be the dedicated teacher, and I'll be traveling with them and be boundless with your kids, which is just, I couldn't be more honored. The age group requirement, and I think the sales team and Reika will probably go into this a little bit further. Yes, we do have programs on entrepreneurship. I believe that's going to be built out as part of the quest pieces. Thank you for asking that. Feel free to ask questions as we go, as they come to you, and I'll do my best to answer them. So your child must turn 13 or be under 15 by March 31st of 2025. So right, we're not working with grade equivalents. Those typically in the US system, that would be 7th and 8th grade. But in different international systems, that's different grade levels for age. So we're really leaning into the age of the child and the learner rather than a grade level equivalency. But it would translate to 7th and 8th grade in the States. And in Canada, it would translate to something similar in my experience having taught in British Columbia. The UK system I can't speak to. Sorry, I'm seeing a few more questions. Can I advance to the next slide in terms of learner profiles? I think that'll help.
We'll go to the next slide because Alexa has to teach a class. They're literally locked outside of her classroom at the moment. So what we'll do is we'll do a quick Q&A at the end, and we can address everybody's questions all at once. So go ahead.
Great.
Go ahead, Alexa.
Thank you. So when we envisioned the student profile, in part we envisioned sort of what we already know of the Boundless family and the Boundless learners, but also sort of what will be successful traits for being Boundless for the academic year. I think there's a readiness to engage with academic challenge. I come from a background of teaching gifted learners who are highly engaged. That does not mean that they don't have LD. So, to the question earlier about dyslexia, that's something I'm very equipped to support and very comfortable to support. There needs to be a willingness to interact with different age groups, including adults, and a flexibility and sort of nimbleness, right? And that is that eagerness, that sort of love of learning is something that is lifelong, and something that I take as quite a privilege to help foster. So thank you so much for spending some time with me. I'll stay on the call until I have children knocking down my classroom door. And thank you so much for taking the time to hear a little bit more about this program. It's really exciting. I'm going to pass back to Rekha to share a little bit about our parent profile and some of the next steps.
Thanks, Alexa. Just like a shout out to Alexa, like she's in the West Coast, so she's joining our calls every morning at 5 a.m., 6 a.m. on full-fledged until her own kids walk into the classroom at New Haven, California. So just thank you, Alexa, for waking up early so often and joining our team to build this program. We really appreciate it. Alexa touched upon the student profile and the kind of traits and things that we need to look at in the children. But I think it's just as important to ensure that this program is the right fit for parents as well. It's very important that if you're about to embark on this journey with us, that we have certain traits and qualities alike in all of us. So, the reality is this is a 9-month commitment, and this group of families will be together for a long period of time. And there are kind of specific traits that I think will play a pivotal role in ensuring that we're creating a positive and enriching experience for the entire community. So I do want to take a little time to talk about, what we're looking for in terms of parents' mindset as well, and for you guys as well to help assess whether this is the right avenue for your family to commit to for 9 months. So the first trait that's really important for parents is the ability to trust the process. Okay, our education model, like the model that Alexa's coming from, is different than a traditional model that most of us have all grown up in. And at times it feels very unconventional. So to truly benefit from it, parents need to have the mindset and the ability to embrace the idea that our approach will work. You need to trust the process, and even when it may feel challenging because we are challenging traditional norms. So I think that's a really first important trait to have as a family coming into this, is to ask yourselves, hey, am I able to trust the process of this alternative approach to education? Really important. Secondly, our program involves traveling across 3 different countries and changing environments. So parents also have to be prepared, and if not even excited, right, to move and look at whatever challenges are going to come along the way as opportunity for personal growth. Similarly, like a valuable quality is, are you an experienced traveler, right? Just the basic kind of concepts of understanding different cultures, being able to navigate new places, embracing the challenges that come naturally with travel is really significant and will contribute to the overall experience. So, I mean, if you haven't traveled before, signing up to a 9-month program might not be best suited for your family. Just like I'm all about transparency, so I just want to make it really clear, right? Like that it is a different way of living, and you know, it would help if you are an experienced traveler. We also prioritize parents who are empathetic and understanding towards others in the group. We have such a diverse and dynamic environment that we've kind of created in each of our communities, and fostering empathy and open-mindedness are crucial. These are qualities that really lead to an atmosphere of acceptance and making it easier for everyone to be able to adapt to these new situations and build more meaningful relationships with one another. So really questioning, hey, am I empathetic and understanding towards others? Because everyone's going to kind of be out of their comfort zone, and I need to step out of my comfort zone and kind of put myself in their shoes and understand how they might be feeling. Our community also thrives when we have parents and staff that are open and transparent to, you know, resolve issues with other adults directly. So again, the reality is you're going to be together for 9 months, right? There might be people that rub you the wrong way, or your kids might get, you know, into a tiff with another set of kids, and rather than I don't know, gossiping about them behind their back, we really encourage families to, you know, address issues directly with the person involved, so that we can foster this positive communication and really healthy community amongst this group. And last but certainly not least, flexibility. You know, that's a core trait that we look for in parents. Our community is ever evolving, and parents who embrace change and adapt to shifting circumstances and are open to new experiences are typically the ones that find their journey with us more enriching and fulfilling. So I know to some these might be qualities that seem very basic and fundamental, but we did want to highlight it because it's truly essential to ensure that, you know, all of our families' values align not just with ours, but also with the other families that will be joining this group, because it will be a tightly knit traveling community. So, you know, ask yourself and be really raw with yourself. Like, hey, maybe I'm not so empathetic to other people. So maybe like this is not the situation I want to get myself into. And that's totally cool. Like there are other programs, maybe, you know, other things available, but just wanted to be very clear that this is really the key traits and values that we're looking for to join this particular program. Now, in terms of the admissions process, as this is our first Trailblazer program, we have set up a very detailed selection process to ensure that we have a high caliber of students and families that align to our core values to make this, you know, first run a success. So we decided that we'll be holding a second webinar. It'll be the same content as today. So if, you know, no need to attend the second one. If you don't want to, more than welcome to join, more the merrier. That will be on November 15th at 11 a.m. EST. So same time in 3 weeks. And we really want to be able to spread the word to more people. So if you know any other amazing parents and families that align to our profile, please do spread the word. By next Friday, though, November 3rd, everyone on this call or anyone who's signed up for the webinar will receive an application form and a one-way video interview with separate questions, both for your child and questions for you as a parent to answer and submit. So for those of you who are interested in joining our program after this webinar, your responses need to be submitted by Friday, November 24th at the latest. However, we do highly recommend that you submit as early as possible. You'll have it by November 3rd, next Friday. The earlier you submit, the quicker you get your name on the waiting list. We will have another influx of people coming in on November 15th. So the sooner you apply, the better your chances are of getting to the waiting list. Then by December 1st, all shortlisted candidates will be notified and invited to join us for some group virtual case studies that Alexa and Felicia, who's our admission specialist, not able to join our call today, they'll be holding these small group virtual case studies between December 4th and December 15th. We also require that a report card from a previous school, or if you're a homeschooling family, some sort of character reference from a homeschool organization be submitted by December 15th. And then the team's going to take about a month, okay, from December 11th to January 18th, where they may request a one-on-one interview with candidates if they're still trying to make a final decision. But all final candidates will be notified at the latest by January 19th, 2024. Then you'll have a solid week to do your booking confirmation and payments. So by January 31st, we will have this first group of Trailblazers confirmed and sealed, basically. And then we'll move into kind of our admissions form and meetings for the 360 profile that we do. Those will start to happen in the spring of April 2024. So that's it for the admissions. I'll pass it on to Elodie, who will go into our prices.
Thank you, Reka. All right, so in terms of pricing, it's very much in line with our standard approach. So as Reka mentioned, we have 3 core pillars when it comes to what we're offering. The first one is the education. So the tuition will be 2,000 euros per month per child. Noting that there will be a registration fee, a one-time registration fee, like with any school program or school that you're joining, so of 400 euros. Then the second pillar is the community. That's what we call the Boundless services. That's when you have access to the local community manager for any questions you might have, weekly wellness activities, your airport transfer, the welcome and farewell events, as well as the co-working space. So everything that is related to your community experience as a parent, that's 450 euro per month per parent, in line with the rest of the Boundless program. And then when it comes to the accommodation, the price will depend on the type of accommodation you're choosing, as well as the location and the cohort. So you have the range here in terms of pricing, and then we'll fine tune this depending on what accommodation you need. Note that there will be, for those of you who have a second or 2 or 3 children, then the second and the third children will be benefiting from a sibling discount. So 10% if you have 2 children, 15% if you have 3. And then we'll also offer 15% discount on the accommodation and the Boundless services if you're deciding to pay upfront for the program. Now, in terms of payment terms, again, quite in line with the current logic of our program. So if you've been with Boundless, you know about it. If not, I'll try to go slowly and explain step by step, so it's as simple as possible. So we generally ask for the booking deposit to be paid when you're starting the process. So as Reka mentioned, by the end of January, we'll know who is joining. And so your first booking deposit will be due in February for your first cohort, so the September to November Bali. Then we will also ask for the booking deposit for the second cohort and the third cohort, so Syros and Montenegro, to be paid right after, so in April and June. And then your months 2 and 3 of every cohort are due respectively 2 months before the cohort starts and 1 month before the cohort starts. So if I take the September cohort, your month 1 is paid in February when you're deciding to join us. And then month 2 is paid 2 months before the September cohort, so in July. And month 3 is due in August, 1 month before the cohort starts. You will get that slide as well, because it's a lot of dates, so you can refer back to it at any point in time.
Awesome. So yeah, just in terms of next steps, just to clarify, like I mentioned, for the admissions process, we will have our next webinar on 3 weeks from now, November 15th at 11 a.m. And then by next Friday, November 3rd, you will receive the application form and the video interview. And we ask that you submit those to us before November 24th. Again, the earlier the better. So yeah, that's it for this webinar. We'd love to open the floor to any questions you guys may have. I was not looking at the chat, but let's see I know there was a lot of questions coming in.
I can take the first few, Reka.
Okay, go for it.
I was also going to say I can take some too.
Oh, Alexa's still here. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So 13 and 14 would be equivalent to grade 8 and 9 in US, and year the same in the UK. If there's anybody from the UK, there would be 8 and 9, or in some places UK 9 and 10. But because we follow the Finnish education system, in Finland, 13 and 14 are grade 7 and 8, but the work you will be getting will be on par with their age. We have a question about a child who'll be turning 15 right before the start of the program. I think we've identified that. I know, someone who's 15, and as a parent, you choose to put them in what would be more appropriate for them. But at this point, when we're just trialing the program, we made a decision that 15 might be just maturity-wise, having someone who's not yet 13 and someone who is 15 might be a bit too much of a gap. So that is a decision. Sorry about that answer, if you were looking forward to that. Dyslexia, Alexa, you already addressed that.
Yeah, can I just chime in on that piece, because I think there's some specialized questions around design and projects as well. So learning needs, learning differences are all things I'm quite comfortable and experienced with, including dyslexia, dysgraphia, and executive functioning. Those are all pieces. Nueva, where I'm currently teaching and where I've been teaching for the almost last decade, specifically serves gifted learners, and we have a high percentage of our student population and students that I serve directly who are 2E or twice exceptional. So they have a high IQ and a learning need or difference. So those are to answer the questions about differentiating for giftedness, but also for dyslexia and learning differences, things I'm very, very comfortable and experienced with. One of the best ways to serve gifted learners and learners with learning differences, especially executive functioning, is with project-based learning, is with sort of those pieces, personalizing based on where the learner is and where we want them to be. And with a small class size, such as the Trailblazers will have, that is something that is very much within range. I don't envision a lot of worksheets. That's not really my style of teaching. My background is in project-based learning and what is called understanding by design, which is sort of a pedagogical philosophy around how to serve learners through skills-based and standards-based learning. So quite a bit of hands-on. We're building time into the schedule for homework to be done like individually in class. I envision that there will be some at-home learning that will be extensions of what happens in the classroom, but I really, as a parent myself, value learning. Homework should be family time. So that's something that I want them to feel comfortable. I want learners to feel comfortable feeling prepared for high school and whatever next steps they want to take. And sometimes that does require that they're doing work at home. However, my preference is with the busy days that we're going to have and the exciting opportunities that we'll have within our communities and cohorts, I want I want that to sort of be case by case. I think those are most of the educational questions.
Yeah, there was someone who asked if we'll be offering programming to this age group before September 24.
Oh, yeah.
We will not, unfortunately. We just want to make sure that whatever we're doing it right, and we don't want to jump into anything too quickly. So we will have an amazing program ready for September 2024, and unfortunately can't offer anything until then.
Yeah. And in answer to the next steps, we've got to start this and see how, get started and then plan what will happen in 2025 for the next round and how we expand from there. But that is the vision. It's not going to be a one and done. It's going to be one and then build on from that. Yep.
Maybe I can take the question about the older siblings based on how we're currently doing it at the moment. We do sometimes have older siblings joining the community. They're obviously not able to take part in the program because in the education program because we don't have any offering for them. However, usually they have their own program, or they're able to indeed join some of the parents' activities that are organized during the day. So that's something that they can join, more the community activities, but none of the education program.
Michelle, you asked about 13 in April. We had identified that 31st of March is the cutoff date. You know, I think we have to keep to that, unfortunately. But I know we want the family there, so maybe it's the next round. Yeah. Dun dun dun. What else?
Heather asked if we will have a music program, and if they'll have any access to instruments.
Currently we have guitar offered in the different destinations as an ongoing after school activity. But if there are special musical talents beyond what we offer in Montenegro, we plan to curate there in Montenegro very a music focus there. We will help find a music teacher locally. So if your child is learning the piano and is gifted, or you want them to just continue with that, we will help find someone. We can't guarantee its availability, especially when you're on Syros, for example, but that would be what we would do there. So
Natalie, your daughter's 14, but would be turning 15 in February. So technically the cutoff date is March. So yes, technically she would be too old to join this particular program, unfortunately. Someone else wanted us to share the big long-term vision for Boundless. So honestly, our long-term vision for Boundless Education is to build an entire education offering from ages 1 to university or wherever your child decides to go. We really want to be a full service education offering for all ages. We do want to make sure we grow steadily and develop smart. So we will be building out slowly and making sure that we do it right. And this is our first initiative to expand beyond our foundation years. And honestly, like, the first call was even, not only are we building out 13 and 14-year-olds, but we're also want to take the learning and all the development that we do for this age group and seep that downwards as well and improve like our current offering, and really revamp everything as we go. So the goal is to offer a full service education offering, but we're going to make sure we do it at the best quality and pace that, is manageable. So yeah. And yes, definitely more cities, more countries. That is never a question. We are always scouting out new areas. Many of us are going to Montenegro this week to look at it, to finalize that as a destination. So yes, there will definitely be more cities and countries to come. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Caitlin will add, that's a good idea, we'll add the dates of birth in there before we share this. Off the top of my head, not going to happen right now, but we'll add it.
I don't, Demetrius is asking Alexa if the program currently offers outside of the cohorts.
Yeah.
Maybe you could clarify.
Yeah, let me. I was just saying. You were saying the program that you're working with now, Nueva. I was wondering, is that a program that offers support for children outside of the cohorts that are happening in the different locations?
Oh, thank you. Not right now. No, they're a separate institution that is based in California. That's a private school that I've worked at for many years, and how I actually came to find Boundless was through former colleagues at Nueva. So yes, really the only support that Nueva would be offering is my own expertise that I bring from having worked here with me to Boundless.
Got it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, of course.
I was just excited when the people talk about twice exceptional. I have a daughter. That was my only concern was would this be a program that would work for her as well? And we're in California, so she's been getting specialized support. And so when you said that, I was like, oh wow.
Yeah. No, it's something I'm quite familiar with and was not familiar with until I started working in gifted education. And I've learned a lot, which is really lovely. I'm wondering, so I have to jump off to go teach, which I'm so privileged and excited to do. Looking forward to learning more about your families and your kids. And thank you so much. I think the folks will stay on.
Yeah.
But
Thanks,
thank you.
thanks, Alexa.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
you.
Thank you, Alexa.
Diego has a question about how we narrow down the ages, and he's curious if his 12-year-old, is so different than a 13-year-old to join the program. The reality is that every location that our Trailblazer program is going to go to will have an upper foundation class. So in our current offering, our foundation group, the classes are ages 10 to 12. So a 12-year-old can still be part of the Boundless ecosystem, and if you want, could still travel, to all the 3 destinations that the Trailblazer program will be going to, but will have to be in the age group that's pertinent to that age. So I hope that helps answer Diego's question.
And building on this, if you have obviously children in the other ages, which is another question, yes, they will then have the priority to go into the other classes or the other classrooms.
Heather's asking if we typically have a list of field trips and cultural activities in advance. Great question. For all the locations that we've already launched in and are experts in, we definitely could provide a list. Not right away. I would say we would need some time because it's still a year out basically that this program launches. But yes, we could definitely provide an overview of what certain field trips would look like in different countries and cultural activities. Okay, so Liz is asking if we would have a program for your 14.5-year-old. I mean, really right now our cutoff is the cutoff that we've said. So if your child is turning 15 after, I'm always confused, before March 31st, then unfortunately, we couldn't accept it. And honestly, from our own, just to be fully transparent, from what we've realized is kids themselves, they don't want to be in such a wide range of group settings as well, right? So the more we can tailor it between this kind of range, the better experience it will be for everyone. So even if your child is on the older end and we've had the experiences where kids actually don't totally enjoy it, if they're in a group with kids that are much younger than them. So from our learning, we've really kind of narrowed it down to this cutoff age and believe that it will be the best experience for everyone involved.
But eventually the vision, right, Reka, is yes, to expand to more classes, but we're taking it one step at a time. I think that's what we're saying. So we've done K-12 for 2 years. Now we're moving on to the 13 to 14-year-old program. Yes, the vision is to expand, because I think that's the question of Liz, eventually in the future. So yes, but there is no date defined for that, basically.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for clarifying.
Answer to our girls aren't native English, but speak pretty well. We will go through a series of case studies and interviews. And I think what we're looking for is, will your child have success in the program? So if your child is really strong in English, doesn't have to be perfect. Nobody's looking for perfection in any area. What we're looking for is the mindset, the ability or the desire to change, to learn, to be engaged in what we're doing. It's more about that than perfection in any given area. And it's more about setting up everyone for success.
I think to
Thank-
Kathleen's question, will there be
Yeah.
any other? Yes, there will be. So 18 kids within the program, that will mean 15, 16 families there. So I can imagine that there will be another 5, 7 families who won't be. The Trailblazer program will come in and out. We've even heard some families who actually wanted to tag along the Trailblazer program and we don't have 13 to 14-year-old kids, so we'll see. But there will be some other families as well, bringing a little bit of diversity and change for you guys who are joining for the 9 months.
Amazing. Will there be a possibility for students to connect before the start of the cohort? Yes, absolutely. We're actually so excited that we get to build this out so early. This is honestly a privilege for us to be able to have this, full year to develop the program. And absolutely, we want the students to get to know each other before. We want them to get to know Alexa before they join, so that, that's the whole purpose of our 360 profile, is that our team gets to learn about each child and their personalities beforehand. But now we also have the privilege of being able to vice versa, get the kids to learn about each other and to get them to learn about our team. So we'll definitely be building out opportunities for them to connect before they join. Excited about that. Anything else we're missing, ladies?
Actually, Rekha, to build on that, something that just with these questions, what would be great is, because we'll have a little bit of time before when we finalize who's going to join and we start, it would be great to have like a few sessions, like once a week or something, just to catch up, everyone casually get to know each other, and opportunities like that. I think that,
Sure.
thank you for that question, because that's what triggered it.
Yeah, it's a great idea. I love that. Heather's asking if we could set up a one-on-one meeting with Alexa to chat about your daughter's educational background. Yeah, I'm sure we could do that. I think the first step would really be to kind of put in the application form and get the process going. And then in the process, there's, opportunities for one-on-ones, but even if you wanted to connect with her before, she's totally accessible and I'm sure would be happy to jump on a call.
There's one more question for kids who've been with Boundless before. Yes, definitely, we know the kids, we know the families, and if it's a good fit, then obviously that will be taken into consideration, but the process will be the same for everyone. Oh no, with the cutoff, but wait, maybe there'll be something next.
Thanks, Natalie. Thanks for sharing.
Thank
I
you.
think that's it for the questions in the chat, unless anyone else. Oh, no, we're still getting some. How much interaction will there be with local peers in each location? Will our teams be able to connect with local teams outside? Yeah, I mean, that's something that we would definitely like to build out, and that I think Alexa already has some plans. So to give a little, Alexa is so humble, just to give everyone a little context, but even with Nueva, she was part of the founding faculty, but she also led all the international trips for Nueva that they've had over the last, 10 years. So she has a lot of experience with really leveraging the local land and tying that into, the deeper dive into cultures and tying that into the projects that they're working on. So she's not here to answer, but the plan is always to provide as much local interaction as possible with the kids on site. I think that's something that we could definitely make sure that's incorporated into the program. I mean, my son, for instance, at every location we've been at, he's registered for the local soccer, like football league, so now he's Canadian, but he's played on the Portuguese league and the Greek league and the Italian league. And those experiences where you're really integrated with a whole bunch of local kids, I think is exceptional. So definitely we'll work on building that out, especially for the Trailblazers, I think, who will have an easier time, communicating with kids who might not speak the same language as them and figuring out how to break that barrier. So yes, definitely. And service projects, yeah, maybe Raj, I don't know if you want to touch upon that a little bit, on what you guys are thinking for the quests and the thematic projects.
Yeah, so we had some of the information that was already on the slide there as well, but across each of the different quests, the idea is to give the children a little bit more experience, hands-on experience with each quest, so it becomes more meaningful to them. So, for example, the one where I think it's going to be in Montenegro, about the nature and the nurture aspect of it, you know, studying different medicines and the importance of plant life, and then giving the children the opportunity to become these junior first aiders, to understand medicine, understanding the, you know, the importance of health. And then similarly with CEROS, it's about participatory justice and the justice system as a whole. The fact that, you know, Greece is the home of the government where it all began, and getting the children to understand that from that first point perspective is going to be amazing. Being able to take a trip into some form of parliamentary building if we can in Zeros, or if we can get the children in there to experience what it's like with the policies and the legislations, that will be a fantastic opportunity. And also, I think the idea is to be able to sort of connect Upper Foundation into the Trailblazers program. So we've got things like Boundless Time, where the children are still able to do their passion projects, and bringing that in as well, but taking it a step further, see if we can get the children out and about with their entrepreneurial minds, and getting the children volunteering in different services.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I'll stick around for another, 5 minutes. If anyone has any other questions, feel free to stay on. But if not, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. We're really excited to be able to finally offer this. Thank you for your patience as well. I know everyone's been eagerly waiting, so we appreciate your patience as we figure out the details to this program. And we're excited. I think we're on to really exciting and incredible things here. So thank you for joining us in this journey, and hopefully look forward to seeing some of your applications come in. I'm looking forward to seeing these videos and getting to know each of you, the ones that I haven't met yet, at least so far. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a great rest of the day.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
So nice to see familiar faces. So I should be able to get the recording, and then I'll share that with you guys, Elodie, and you guys can share it with whoever, I guess, wasn't able to join the
Yeah,
call.
I think we can stop the recording now.
Okay.